Hey YouTube, Ultra Magnum here, and today we're taking a look at the Magic Square MS-B28 tapes team. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Okay, here we go. We'll do this in alphabetical order because why not, and we will start with Buzzsaw, or Sawbird as Magic Square have called him. So along with Ratbat, I think this is the strongest in terms of alt mode. It's the most cassette-like, the way it squares off and tabs together, and crucially fits into Voice Ripple's chest quite easily. I think that is a definite must if this is going to be a cassette to go with Soundwave. I like the way they've made use of the pin joints here to give the reels, or make the reels kind of look of the tape. So all in all, very good. Paint is good in terms of colour. I like the silver, I like the choice of the yellow, the shade, and the matte finish is really nicely done. I think there are a couple of points where it kind of bleeds over the edges, the silver onto the black there, and some of it into the yellow, and even a bit of the yellow into the silver there. So it's not impeccable finish if that's what you're after. It's good, but it's not great. To be honest, you're not going to notice unless you get up close, but it is something to note nonetheless. Transformation is simple and relatively intuitive. It is reminiscent of the Masterpiece, Takara Masterpiece version of this character, and I think it's quite ingenious the way that they managed to fold it all up, to be honest, because if you had the G1, if you've ever seen that or had a go with it, that was pretty much a parts former, the way the boosters had to tack onto the top, and also the wings kind of folded out in a weird kind of way. So this does a really good job of recreating the character in terms of bot mode, or bird mode as it were. Overall, I think this looks great. The colours work, it pops, it's got good finish, and good quality. I mean, they painted the eyes, which is kind of attention to detail there. My only critical point with this is, so the neck is articulated down here at the base, but not at the head. So it just means you're stuck with it in that one position. You can't angle it in any different way. And then another point to note, I was quite surprised at this. I thought he would clip on in some way to Voice Ripple's arm, just because you've got these handy notches here, and I thought they would do something that would allow that, but it doesn't really. So it is at a risk of topple. If your shelf gets a little knock, he is going to go flying off there. All in all, looks good. Couple of critical points, so 7 out of 10. And I think probably the main criticism of this, which I haven't scored, is that he's not Laserbeak, but we'll come on to that in the final thoughts. On to Frenzy, aka Berserker. So the tape mode on this is frankly terrible. It's not really a tape mode at all. It's basically squashed up limbs and folded in half robots. It kind of reminds me of that scene in The Exorcist where she's walking backwards down the stairs in that kind of reverse crab fashion. It doesn't fit in Voice Ripple's chest. You might be able to squash stuff together and jam it in there, but you shouldn't really have to. So all in all, I think it's a bit of a disappointment, the tape mode on this. So it's kind of non-existent. Transformation, a little bit parts for me. You've got to take the blasters off. They're stored in what will become the feet. It's very simple. It's not one you're going to need to crack open the instructions for, because you can kind of see how he's folded up. So very straightforward. It's a little bit niggly with all the ball joints and sort of articulation points, but once you get there, you've got an absolute cracker, to be honest. I think the proportions and the look of this is fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Here he is next to Rumble. I think these figures are great. They look brilliant. The colours pop. The application's brilliant. I mean, look at the finish on that. It's incredible. One thing to point out, the noses are off center. I think this is mentioned in the TFW forums. You can't really see it unless you get up close, but once you see it, it's like, yep, those are definitely off. Could we be generous? We could be say, well, they're looking sideways. I don't think that kind of cuts it, to be honest. I think there's just a little error in the mold there, but we'll forgive it because it's so small you can't really see that. Overall, pops, it's great. Fantastic articulation. I mean, it's even got a waist swivel. Something this small with a waist swivel, ankle rocker, and everything's just got rotation due to the ball joints. So all in all, very brilliant stuff. Also comes with the transformation rumble arms. They kind of just clip on, very much like the Masterpiece. In fact, they just fit very snugly over there, and these bits move in and out, so you can kind of pose them and do all the kind of stuff with it that you'd want to. So all in all, bot mode is fantastic, tape mode is terrible. So I'm going to be generous because the bot mode really is so good and give him 8 out of 10. So on to Ratbat, or Ravbat as he is known. So again, this is a very strong cassette mode, nicely squared off, fits really well into Voice Ripple's chest. I think that's really good. Again, they've made use of these pin joints to give the effect of the tape reels. Nice paint, the silver bit is painted, nicely applied, good colour, it pops. This is just plastic, the kind of pinky purple colour. I'm not sure what shade it is. What shade is Ratbat? He's probably got some strange name that I'm not familiar with. So we can all go and look that up afterwards. Transformation wise, again, actually is very similar to the Masterpiece in the way it all folds out. Quite intuitive, quite ingenious as well. You know, you're making a 3-dimensional kind of thing folding out from a very small tape. So I think that's very impressive. You've got the gold boosters around on the back, the jetpack bits. The gold on there is very nicely painted, really nicely done. I like those. Good look there. And overall, I think that the alt mode, the bat on this, I think is very good actually for the size and what it is. You've got a good face sculpt. Again, they've painted the eyes. There's no movement on there, but I don't think, to be fair, they could have fitted any in, to be honest. He's got fold out feet, so that's good. Doesn't really stand due to the back heaviness, but he can kind of sit there. Again, there's no real way to clip him on, but I have found that if you you can kind of attach him onto here, onto this little notch on the shoulder. I don't know if that's intentional. It looks kind of accidental, and it looks a little goofy there, to be honest, but there is somewhere to kind of store him securely if that's what you want to do. So overall, I think this is the best figure of the set. There are no flaws that I can see, and nothing kind of crucial missing. Overall, really good for the size. 10 out of 10. On to Ravage, or Damage. So the tape mode on this isn't quite as bad as Frenzy's, but to be honest, it is getting there. It's not squared off in any particular way. It's kind of is what it is. Limbs fold up and squashed up as best they could make it. Doesn't fit into Voice Ripple's chest, so it's kind of like a non-existent alt mode for me. This bit of a disappointment. The transformation is very simple. It is what it is. It's kind of unfolding limbs and moving them into the correct place. Everything is on a ball or a swivel or a pin, so it's just a case of moving things until they get to where they need to be. If we can just unfold these. So with that ball peg system, you do get a figure that is very articulate. Everything moves, all of the joints and knees and even the feet at the front move. You've got a tail that moves up and down. The head has got a little ball peg, so very good stuff in terms of articulation. I think the face sculpt is good. It's got painted eyes, very impressive. They've gone down to that level of detail. The silver works on the rockets on the back, and actually the shades of the plastic, so this light bluish grey and the black, work very well. Where the figure fails in alt mode is from this angle. So looks great from the side. I think probably could do with being a bit longer. Feels a bit squashed up, but it looks good and very poseable. But you turn it around to here and you immediately notice these black bits jutting out from the body, the joints here. Because the ball pegs are quite far away from the central body, it means you've got these spindly little bits, and it just breaks the look, to be honest. It looks like a Kinder Egg toy, something that you would snap together and you know, you'd make not a good look all in all. And given that this is kind of the mainstay, or one of the mainstay minions, along with Laserbeak and Rumble, I think it's a bit of a disappointment all round. It's a bad alt mode. and pretty poor bot mode as well, to be honest. A few positives, paint and finish and the colours, but all in all, not good. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 10. So with this set, we also get this, which is a sensor. It kind of just plugs into the arm. You can take out the fist and tab that in there. Nice little addition, I guess. Strange colour choice. I think on the Masterpiece, Takara, and the Hasbro, in fact, it was a silver, wasn't it? It was like a plated silver chrome effect. This doesn't really match colour-wise at all. It does match Rumble, however, so I suspect they kind of had leftover Rumble plastic and they used it to make this. I'm not going to score it, but just a note, you also get it with this set. There you go. So there we have it. This set gets a final score of 7 out of 10 from me. In terms of the positives, we've got strong alt modes for Frenzy, Ratbat and Buzzsaw, although he doesn't clip on to Soundwave, which would be preferable. Ravage, I think, is very poor in both modes, a bit of a disappointment. In terms of tape modes, we've only really got 2 with any kind of playability, so again, that's a little bit of a disappointment for a tape team set. So where does that leave us in terms of value? Well, for me, there are 3 figures that you want to go with Soundwave: Rumble, Ravage and Laserbeak. You get Rumble with Soundwave, so that's great. I bought this set so that I could get hold of Ravage, but Ravage is terrible. So where does that kind of leave it? Well, I need to go out and buy Sound Blaster to get hold of Laserbeak. So in total, probably upwards of £120, £130, probably more with kind of aftermarket and availability. So not great, to be honest, because, you know, that's kind of Masterpiece prices. And good though some of these are, they're not quite at that level of ingeniousness. And I'm not saying that just because they're Legends figures, because there are definitely some great Legends figures out there, which I'm discovering. So Soundwave Voice Ripple, I think, is an absolutely cracking figure. It blew me away, and that's what inspired me to get this set. I think this set is a bit of a disappointment, and it's a little bit of a poor choice, I think, from Magic Square to release the figures in this way. And I think for me, if they'd have made Soundwave a little bit more expensive and put Laserbeak and Ravage in with it, that would have sat much better. And then you could have released Frenzy, Buzzsaw and Ratbat as a separate set, or put them with Sound Blaster to give people the kind of choice, rather than just be kind of openly trying to make people buy everything. So I think that's a bit unfortunate. Overall, I can't really recommend this set, to be honest. It's certainly not worth, I think, the money to buy this set in addition to the other figures. So overall, not a recommend from me, I'm afraid. Anyway, I hope this review's been useful. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Take care and bye for now.